Hey, welcome back everybody. Hope you had a great spring break. Now it's time to kind of get back at it again. I'm going to take you in really easy for Tuesday and for Thursday of this coming week. We are only going to do our closure. Okay, and we're going to try to prep you for a little bit bigger of a formative, kind of like a cross between a formative and summative, which will be on Canvas this time, not on Google Forms. So we're going to try it on Canvas. You should be able to just click on the link, do your thing, and be ready to rock and roll. So cross your fingers that this will work. So let's get back into this. And as you can see, we're doing Unit 7 closure. And my buddy here, this is me after I ate all my quarantine snacks in one night. Yeah, thought it was appropriate. And then, of course, we need a dad joke to start us off. You know, I got fired from my job at the bank today. An old lady came in and she asked me to check her balance. So I pushed her over. I know, that's a little bit harsh, but thought it would be quite funny, and even my buddy there is doing the same thing. So let's move on. So here we go. So we're on 7-118, and we have Aja and Emily. They're riding their skateboards down the street, which I hope you guys were doing this last weekend. It was gorgeous. So they knew they could ride 3 miles in 20 minutes. Okay, so we have 3 miles in 20 minutes. And it says, we've got to figure out how far can the girls ride in 45 minutes. So 3 miles in 20 minutes is equal to how many miles in 45 minutes? And this goes to solving those proportions that we've talked about. Now notice 20 doesn't go into 45 evenly, real nice. And it doesn't pay to simplify this. So we're just going to do the simple cross multiply and divide. So we're going to multiply, and we've got 20 times x is 20x. We have 3 times 45. Well, 3 times 40 is 120. 3 times 5 is 15. So we have 135. And then, as you know, it's divide by 20 to undo the multiplication. So x is going to go into, we have 20 over 20 gives me x. And 20 goes into 130. Well, 20 times 6 is 100. Okay, and 20, we're going into 135. So we have 15 left over. So what we're looking for, how far? So 6 and 15 20ths doesn't make sense. So let's change that to a decimal in this case and do 6.75 miles. So again, all we did is cross multiply and divide. 3 miles we can do in 20 minutes. How many miles can we do in 45 minutes? Okay, this should be a good review. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have Harley who's eating pizza, and he already ate 6 pieces. This is exactly what I would do before his sister Sam got home. Well, Samantha was worried that she was not going to get a fair share of the pizza and wanted to know how many pieces were in the original pizza. So Harley told her, I have only eaten 3/8 of the pizza. So we got to help Samantha figure out how many pieces were there to start with. Okay, so this is what we know. Now, a couple of you guys are going to probably jump into drawing a picture. And you're going to go, okay, so he ate 3/8 of it. So if half is 4/8 and the other half is 4/8, and he ate 6 pieces. So I'm going to divide this thing up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have enough pieces yet, so I got to divide again. Okay, so he said he ate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And those 6 are 3/8. And notice there's 2 left over on this side. Okay, so we've got to make sure this all adds up. So if we did it again, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 3/8. 3/8 and 3/8 is 6/8. So these two together give me 6/8, which means I have 2/8 left. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 pieces for 2/8. Well, if 2/8 is 4 pieces, that means 1/8 is 2 pieces. So this all makes sense. So now we've got this, and we've got this. Just add it up. But you notice how long that took. Okay, so we know there were 6 pieces here, and 6 pieces here, and 4 pieces there. So there's 16 total pieces. But that took a long time. So let's try to do this a little bit different. We know that he ate 3/8. We know we're trying to figure out 3/8 is how much of the total pizza. We know 3/8 is equal to 6 out of a total of blank. So 3/8 is equal to 6 out of how much? Well, 3 goes to there by multiplying by 2. So why don't we just multiply by 2? 8 times 2 is 16, so x is equal to 16. I hope you found that much easier than doing the big diagram. I don't care which way you do it, but much quicker, much more efficient. Okay, next one. 120 we're on. So we have Marcus has a summer job. He makes $45 a day. Yesterday, his boss told him he's going to get a raise to $63. That's kind of nice. And he's going to do this because he's such a hard worker. We want to know what's the percent of increase in Marcus's salary. So if you remember when we did this a little farther back, we said, find out how much is the increase. So job 1, subtract. So we have an $18 increase. But that's not what they wanted. They want what's the percent of the increase. So our job is to take the increase and divide it by the original, which was $45. So we take 18, divide it by 45. You can get on your calculator if you like, and you're going to come up with a decimal, which is 0.40. Now change that to a percent. So he got a 40% increase. Now, I know some of you are going to try to draw the big diagrams and figure that out, but that takes a lot longer. Again, find out how much the increase or decrease. This will work if it's a decrease too. How much it is, subtract them, and then divide that number by whatever the original number you started with was. Okay, pretty easy. And then lastly, it says we got to simplify and solve some equations. So this is getting back to what you and I have done before. So we have 121, we're on A, B, C, and D. So we draw our line. We take the small x over to the big X, so I'm going to move this negative 3x out of here by adding 3x. Add 3x. I now have 8x plus 2 equals minus 14. X's are over here by themselves. Let's kick everything else out. Subtract 2. So I have 8x equals negative 16. And then lastly, how do we undo multiplication? Yes, divide. So we're going to divide by 8. So x equals negative 2. So again, we've done a bunch of these. If you need to pause to take a look, pause it now, but I'm going to go on to the next one. Okay? We have a fraction in here. We don't like fractions. So what we want to try to do is get rid of that fraction if we can. Okay, some of you will do it with a fraction, some won't. Well, I noticed that the denominator is 3. So I'm going to multiply everything times 3. So 2/3 times 3 is equal to 2. So I now have a 2x. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times minus 4 is minus 12. Now let's just simply solve it. Subtract our 2x. 3 equals x minus 12. X is over here. Let's get rid of the minus 12. And we're going to add 12. So x equals 15. Okay, let's get down to this one. And I'll move this up for you so it's a little bit easier. We have decimals. Again, if you don't like decimals, you can bust them out of here, okay, by multiplying by a number, and that's what I'm going to do. So I notice I have one decimal place, 2 decimal places. So I'm going to multiply everything times 100, 2 decimal places. So 100 times this, that means I move this over twice, turns that into 50x. 100 times this one, move it over twice, minus 50. 100 times this one, move it over twice, 75x. 100 times 1 is 100. 100 times minus x is 100x. Numbers are a little bit bigger, but we can manage this. Okay, so let's combine these x's. So I have negative 25x. I just combine these two. Plus 100 equals 50x minus 50. I'm going to add 25x's. Let's get all the x's to one side. So I have 75x's minus 50 equals 100. Let's move the minus 50 over. Add 50. 75x equals 150. And then, as you know, divide by 75. So x equals 2. Now, if you don't want to do this part, multiply by 100, just use the decimals and you can do it that way. I personally would probably do it without doing the 100, so I don't have an extra step, but I'm okay with decimals. If you're okay with decimals, then do it without that step. Okay, let's do the last one. Nothing fancy. Combine like terms. 3x plus 6 equals 3x minus 7. Now, some of you could stop there, because think about it. If this is a 3x and I'm adding 6 and that's a 3x minus 7, is that ever going to work? Okay, but for those who don't know, watch. Let's move the x's together. So I'm going to subtract 3x. So I get 6 is equal to a minus 7. Does 6 actually equal negative 7? So this is no solution. We haven't done that in a little while, but you have done those before. Okay, you can pause it now if you want to take a look at them, and I'm going to go on to what your job is. Okay, so now it's your turn. So I've got 3 problems here for you. This is the point where you can pause the video so you can write these down, do them, and then once you've got it all done, turn the video back on and check your answers. Okay? So I'm going to assume you've paused it now and you did these problems. So let's go on to the answers. And here's your answer key. So for the first one, you should have gotten 66 minutes. For the second one, the personnel cost $26. And for the last one, you get negative 10x squared plus 7x minus 5. And that's Tuesday's lesson. Thanks, guys. I can almost speak today. And there, it's Saturday. I know you guys should be outside, but somebody's got to get this done. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you got this done. Hope you did well, and we'll see you again on Thursday.